All right, all right. It looks like I got my brother in here. Black Alpha Network. Can you hear me, my brother?
Loud and clear. How's it going, my brother?
Man, it's cold and rainy here right now for the time being, but hey man, we're gonna get through it. I heard it's about the same there, ain't it?
Yeah, hey, we got one more day of this, family. One more day. We had to fight through basically what we see as an ice storm. It's not an ice storm to y'all or up in the north, but it was a slight little ice storm. Had to, fight through all that, make all my internet connections and everything right the other day. So we got one more day of this, family, and it's on and popping, man, for the rest of the, few days we have in the year, brother. So salute to y'all out there, though, man. Y'all stay safe. I heard about, cars going airborne and flying through the air that way, man. So you stay safe, my brother.
Man, I'm telling you, brother, I literally saw it Saturday because we were in the frozen tundra over the weekend. So I seen a few people misjudging the fact that what they thought was a clear street was just nothing but a sheet of ice. Man, it took their car straight up like the Dukes of Hazzard, brother. So yeah, man. Right now we got the wind blowing in about 25 miles per hour. While actually storming and raining. So, but we here though.
Man, oh man, brother, that's a whole different kind right there, family. Hey, do y'all get black ice up there?
Oh yeah, over the weekend, that's exactly how that car just went airborne. Is man, a solid sheet of black ice because we started the pretty much the weekend at about they said it was about 20, but it felt like 7 with the wind chill. And where I had to go is out by the river. So that's like one of the coldest places in the city. So you got to kind of know how to navigate. But this person took the least traveled way. And man, it did not work out for him well at all, man.
Man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, I was kind of used to that, my days of being back up top, man, in Ohio, to know everybody, they talk about the Christmas vacation in the winter and the winter wonderland and all that. And that stuff's cool on television, man, with Frosty the Snowman, but it ain't too swift to drive in. So hopefully that individual was good, man. And y'all could all stay safe up there as well as all my brothers and sisters, all across the country right now, because the cold freeze has been all throughout here. I talked to my brother the other day. He's up there in Ohio, right there off of Lake Erie, man. He said it was like fucking like 12 degrees. And then I talked to him later, it was like 1 degree, man. So hope everybody stays warm out there, no matter where you are. Stay safe so you can end this year on a good note, because we have already built a lot of momentum. We got things on our side right now. So let's just stay good, stay fresh, and keep on applying that pressure on everybody.
So yes, indeed. With that being said, family, welcome to once again the Certified Truth. That is myself and my brother Black Alpha Network. I am Beatzilla PDX official, and hey man, this is what we do around the beginning of every week. We like to start to set the tone off of foundational Black American freedmen excellence every week. So this is how we have been doing it for the past few months here. So again, thanks for everybody who has been coming and tuning into these spaces and participating in these spaces as well. And today we are talking about, because we're coming into the end of the year here, and 2022 has been a very interesting year, especially when it comes down to the conversation of reparations. And what we have seen is, as long as the public had looked at reparations as being a dormant situation, everything was all good. Nobody gave a crap. Nobody wanted to associate with being a descendant of a slave. Now that we are talking about reparations, it's all of a sudden has made the descendants of slaves, we're looking like the Jacksons right now to the world. And the reason being is because people already understand our resilience. And like Dr. Claude Anderson always says, we are an exceptional people. So with that being said, we are putting an end this year, and we have thoroughly done so. Myself, my brother, and others, ending the Tether Agenda to our reparations. And that's why we're moving into the lineage-based reparations claim. And as you see now, we even have Asians trying to get into the mix, trying to push for Biden to get a reparations, again, pushing for a study, but nonetheless, they are with the narc. They're trying to move in with the Tether Agenda. So moving in further with the tethering in on reparations, and then also addressing these reparations haters and our culture vultures such as Akon. Because Akon ain't just a reparations hater. He's a full-blown definition of a tether. He has came here, made his career off of foundational Black American culture, foundational Black American music, and foundational Black American fan bases, as well as his own international fan base. So, yeah, we're going to address all of that today. And, shout out to the family for really putting in that work and making sure we have the lines drawn clear. That's not a xenophobic state. That is just stating the obvious. We are our own independent group, and we have the right to be tribal if we so desire. Because in this regard, think about it. All of these so-called Native American tribes, when they go before the government, they go before the government as their tribe, not some big mixed group. So all we're doing is just like that. It's not xenophobic, it's all business. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on over to my brother, because as y'all know, this typically would be the week of him hosting this space, but because we are in this countrywide storm epidemic, we just taking our best shot and hoping for the best today. So bear with us, family, today. If we have glitches, hey man, don't take it personal. We just trying to get through it, but we dealing with this crappy weather. But we here. So back to my brother.
Appreciate that, family. And as I said, I want everybody out there, y'all stay safe. If you're driving, I don't care what's going on. Just make sure you stay safe. We started off this year with a lot of momentum, and I definitely want to see all my brothers and sisters make it on out this year strong and powerful, and start off next year strong and powerful. As they say, every day, every year, we get stronger and stronger and stronger. And the two main things that we've seen this year is reparations and regulating. Those have been the two defining legacies that we have put forth this year, and we're all in it together. We've all been doing it. It takes a collective effort. Every last one of us has to put in, some work so we can all grind brick by brick. And what we've done this year is we've taken reparations and we put it to a whole nother level. I want you to think about reparations this time last year, and then think about it 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And the further you go back, the more reparations will start to disappear. But the further you come forward, the more reparations gets bigger and stronger. And that's all because of us at the Black grassroots level. And I'm talking about every single person. I don't care if you got 5 followers, okay? If you're out here with a positive reparations agenda, then you have put in your work. And if you put in your work, you deserve to be saluted. And I commend you. I give you nothing but love and respect and admiration. So that's something we have done. We take reparations and we put it on the forefront, and we don't, fold for nobody. We're keeping it strong and powerful. And at the same time, we've regulated a lot of these tethers. 2022 has been a very, very bad year for tethers. Okay. Tethers have been running around for years, eating off of our culture, stealing, just straight up being thieves, taking everything that we've ever done, giving us no respect, showing us no love, just real funny style behavior. And what have we done? We started to frame it. We started to regulate it. And now they don't really come around as much. If y'all remember, last year started off with a tether space, a big tether space where all these different groups are saying they had problems with foundational Black Americans, talking down on us, hating, and we've exposed them all. So right now, that's why they do little things like throw rocks and hide their hands, or they talk down about us from another place. We have done a great job, and we want to focus in on the things that we've done. You can walk down your street right now, you can turn on television, you're going to have a whole world who's going to be always trying to throw salt at us and talk about the bad things and the negativity. We don't do that over here. We talk about foundational Black American excellence, and that's what we center it in. We too great of people to sit here and be negative. No. We ain't doing that negative stuff. It's all about positivity. We don't walk with our head down. We walk with our head to the sky because we've accomplished so much. So in terms of reparations, look what we have done, family. Look what we have done. They got to address us now. Did y'all think 2 years ago that they would even be sitting there talking numbers? You can go out right now and look what's going on in California, across the country right now, out in Baltimore, New York. They out here talking numbers. They got real brothers and sisters out here making our presence felt, and we're really speaking to them about our power, our pride, and our lineage. That is all because of what we have done at the Black grassroots level. As I said, we built, we got stronger, and we got stronger. So I want to take this momentum and just move it on to the next year. You feel me? And I want to have the conversation this time next year and say, look how bigger we've taken this before, because it's all about, getting it done. What our brother Nipsey Hussle say, he say, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. and the marathon continues. And we're going to continue this marathon. We're going to push this further until reparations comes all the way to us, all the way to us. So we've had to deal with the tethers. We've had to deal with the off code. We had to deal with the counterfeits. We've had to deal with a lot of, poor behavior from a lot of suckers, quite frankly, that are really jealous. They have spite. They have vitriol and envy for foundational Black Americans. Well, guess what? They're going to have to continue to have it, because we're not going to fold. They thought they was going to tire us out. They thought by now we would literally just be like, all right, man, we tired. We're going to take a break. We don't want our reparations no more. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go take a nap. They thought that we was going to do that, but we haven't. Actually, the more off code they get, the more on code we become. So you're seeing that the ball is on our court. We got all the momentum. Only thing we got to do is hit that shot. You feel me? There's 3 seconds left, and let's hit that shot, 3-pointer, win the game. We all go home and celebrate. So let's continue to work that good. Let's continue to regulate anybody who's off code. Let's continue to regulate anybody who speaks against our reparations, and let's just hold down the fort. Let's represent this lineage, heritage, and culture to the fullest. And once we do that, everything else will fall straight to the wayside. Do you feel me, my family?
I absolutely feel you, brother. And one thing that I do want to definitely stress is and then that's why I said we are looking out for our own lineage, which does not make anybody xenophobic. So let me clarify something. I understand there will be a lot of people that hop up in spaces and start talking reckless to people and individuals. Again, let me stress, if those folks probably don't have platforms and they're nameless profiles, please don't put them on with folks like I'm showing my face. You can see who I am. We have live broadcasts. We have platforms. So what we represent is what we represent. Not a faceless troll, not a person in the chat. So what we're telling you is not every immigrant, not every Black immigrant is a tether. But when you have people like Akon, when you have people like what is it, Kubar Vasquez, when you have people like Faison Love, when you have people like all these other individuals, Candace Owens on the other side of the game. And then you have, of course, the homegrown anti-Black foundational Black American tether. Because again, what are they tethering in? They're tethering in the dominant society agenda. So that is, anything that is a detriment and you're trying to tie in another agenda into this thing, that is what makes you a tether. That's what makes you an op. And so when you're talking to unlearned individuals, put them on us. Please don't put them on us. If they ignorant talking out their ass, that's them, actually. And then you learn it right now, the difference between how we speak and then how they speak. Well, and that's all I could really say. But one thing I will stress, there's going to be people out here that say all kind of things. Like Twitter is a space to where they can drop the N-bomb at any goddamn time. Any Nigerian or African can sit up there and just lace Twitter with Akata. So if we're using the word tether, that's a new definition, and that's an active definition too, because we have literally seen it. We're watching it again, real time, with Akon. And just think, Akon of all people, locked up, no, that ain't no African tune. What are you talking about? Now, here's another thing. If you guys have not really been paying attention to the dance hall scene, Shaggy's been calling out Afrobeat, because Afrobeat ain't nothing but dance hall, and then reggaeton, and then they done flipped it. So all they did, so again, they didn't even come up with the sound of Afrobeat while they coming over here talking about, well, they ain't got most stage presence. You have got to be kidding me. So again, we have to address all of these things, and we're just ending those agendas, because you're not finna sit up here under us, with us, and then turn around undermining us like a person like Uncle Luke, and then you over here doing the bidding of these people for a Caribbean CARICOM. So we're going to have to get folks out the paint like that, and we're just putting a stamp on it. And again, if anybody out here is calling all immigrants tethers, they do not represent my stance. So I'm just going to make that plain. So we can go from there. Back to you, brother.
Yes, family, I heard it put in a very, very great way. It is that not all immigrants are tethers, but all tethers are immigrants, okay? And that separates the two of them. So anybody who's trying to tell us that, all of them are this way, they're not all that way. But at the end of the day, you got to be on code. And if you are on code, I need you to call those other folks out. There's this notion that they come to us say, well, we not all's bad, okay? That we not all bad. That's fine. That's good. That's sweet and dandy. But what I need them to do is start to regulate people in their countries that are off code. See, right here in the United States of America, us foundational Black Americans, we call out people who are off code. Have any of y'all ever seen one of us go to the Jamaicans or go to Africans and say, oh, I'm sorry for what Clyburn did to y'all? We don't do that. We don't do that because we G-check them here. They know better here. You understand? They don't play that stuff on us. So they don't go and export their cooning on other folks. A lot of these other groups and other nations, their coons export and come over here is because the ones who are on code don't check them there. You feel me? It's about the majority versus the minority. And folks know better right here because we got names for you. We frame them. Contrary to belief, foundational Black Americans, we call out off-coded behavior all the time. We are the only ones who have names up. Okay, we can go down the list. You want to talk about coon, you want to talk about tap dancing, butter biscuit, counterfeit, banjo, what you want to call it. We got names for days. Anybody who's off code, oh, you're going to get called on it. You're going to get called on it. You're going to get framed. We're going to roast you. And we're going to make it clear that you can't come around us. We have such a gatekeeping society in our country that goes back hundreds of years. This ain't new. By the time anybody in this space right here was born, you already had on-code brothers and sisters regulating off-code folks. House NIGGA. I mean, you go there. You feel me? We've been saying these things. These other communities, they don't necessarily have those mechanisms in place. So that's why their cooning runs amok. And then what happens? They coon in their own countries, and then they come over here and then they tether. 9 times out of 10, when you encounter a tether here, he was a coon in his own country. You feel me? And since the ones who are on code aren't checking them in the fashion in which they need to, we end up having to do it. You feel me? So what we end up having to do is we got to check our own coons. We got to check foreign coons, domestic coons, coons abroad, coons internationally. We just the international coon checkers. You feel me? And whether that coon has tether attached to his name or not, you're going to get that smoke from foundational Black Americans and be proud of it. Don't let anybody try to shame you because there's this new notion now where we need to be nice to the tethers. No, the hell we don't. No, the hell we don't. Only thing we need to do is be foundationally Black and exceptional. That's it. Don't change for the world. If you are an American freeman, just stay who you are. Because trust and believe, anybody who's been out there letting that type of energy fester, it has been detrimental to the world. Understand, the Black race as a whole would be a lot further if you did not have sellouts who throw other Black people under the bus. You have to historically look at it. Everybody's heard Dr. Claude Anderson. If you haven't, go ahead and check it out. YouTube, Google it. Dr. Claude Anderson speaks about how many slave revolts that would have been successful and they would have freed Black folks 100 years prior to the Civil War. And each and every single one of them was squealed on by another Black person. So the sellout that throws other Black people under the bus, oh, they're very serious. This little notion where we're going to let the tether wake up and we're going to let the coon wake up and just let them come on in for an hour and a half. One days they'll be woke. We ain't got time for that. Does anybody in this room got 300 years? Do you got 100 years? I don't. I don't have 300 years. I don't have 100 years. I ain't got 50. I'm trying to get it today. So this notion of in my lifetime, we canceling in my lifetime. We doing it right now. And that's why we've made so much progress is because everything we think of today is how can we get it ASAP, as soon as possible. That's the game. That's the goal. That's what we focused on right now. So if G-checking some tethers is in the cards, it's in the process, let's do it. I'm down for it. And you got to have fun while you're doing it. You got to have fun because it's going to be only one winner. It's either going to be we G-checked them all and we got what we wanted, or they sold us out, threw us under the bus, and we left empty-handed. I'm not trying to go empty-handed because some tethers came over here and sabotaged what we had. I'm not trying to go empty-handed because some folks would rather vote for the Democratic Party over foundational Black American excellence. Okay, so we're going to take it very serious, and that's what we have done in the year 2022. We have G-checked and we've regulated with no compromise. We're not sitting here hearing somebody say, we all Black, brother. Come home to me, brother. We all friends. And then they try to take your money on the low. Nah. So one thing that we have made very, very crystal clear is that it's all about us. It's all about our lineage, heritage, and culture. And either somebody is going to be respectful of that, or someone is going to be disrespectful of that. And if you are disrespectful of that, then you're going to have to get that G-check. Bottom line, point blank. So I'm loving the notion that we are standing right here on our island. We have open door. If you cool, you come on in. If you foul, you got to stay on the outside. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's what every single other group does. So let's just continue to stay focused. Akon can catch it. Godfrey, you can get it. I don't give a damn how funny you are. You can get it too. But it ain't going to be funny when you catch this G word. Nobody. Faison Slug, he can get it too. Dr. Kubar Vasquez, he can get it. Candace Owens can get it. The little tether down here at the corner store can get it. The tether walking up the block can get it. The tether on the other side of town, county, state, country, nation, anybody who tries to tether to foundational Black American culture without wiping their feet at the door is on that G check list. And this year we've been checking them off one by one. Ain't that right, my brother?
Big facts. And, you know, sometimes that has to be done. And, you know, every time when you when you close the door to go ahead and do renovation in your own home, on your own property, on your own land, it always benefits you, because then you start getting back into the benefits of just being around your own. And so with what has happened is, if you notice, one of the biggest problems that we are seeing out of these other groups is that we do not let their influence in on our agenda. And so notice that. I hope that that does not go unnoticed, because somebody is feeling some kind of way about losing influence of our agenda. Now look at the typical media out here. All these so-called media entities that provide black themed or black targeted products, none of them are owned by black folks. So they don't represent our voice. This is the new day. This is a new era to where the people ourselves speak. And truth be told, this is the part to where, in historically, they don't want you looking at that part. Because when the people start getting together collectively and start talking, oh yeah, that's when things start changing on a global level. And we already seeing everybody coming out the woodwork. What would be Akon's issue with foundational Black Americans right now? That all of us could sit up there and, without even having half a talent, could take reparations and turn that into a financial situation and start building a whole new financial ecosystem, which none of them in a big ass continent have ever been able to do without either Asian control or the white supremacist global support system of benevolence white supremacy. So, hey man, that them they like being colonized. We ain't with it. Give us our check. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and go on to Vovo. You know, came to the stage, my brother. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you letting me speak, brother. I'm at work. I got to start back driving in a little bit, so I ain't gonna be too long. Yeah. I just want to say I'm proud of y'all. You know, I'm proud of my people, man. Like you said, there's a lot said, but I'm proud of y'all, man. You know, this year 2022 has been a historical year. The delineation is already in. You know, I'm hearing them refer to us by name all over the world. It ain't no just one black person no more, no one big nigga no more. That shit is over with, and it will never be again. Period. You know what I'm saying? With the Faison Love thing, look at what we did immediately. Immediately. After he made them bullshit comments, he instantly became off-brand. Immediately. I didn't know that Faison Love was an Afro-Latino. I never had a reason to look into it. I never had a reason. He was just Big Worm to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought he was one of ours. You know what I'm saying? But he showed himself. He showed his spirit. And we canceled him right there. He instantly became off-brand. Instantly. He instantly off-brand now. He instantly something else. He instantly different. I like what we did. And you said something about history. I was doing my paperwork, and you were saying something about history. They not gonna want to look back in this time in history. They not gonna want to look back in this time in history. This is gonna be an embarrassing point in history for them, and it's gonna be another win on that big thick book for foundational Black Americans. I appreciate you letting me speak, my brother.
Absolutely, brother. And what I was saying about the historical piece is that every time that the people's voice was the loudest in the room, it always affected things on a global. So this is one of those times to where, fortunately, with technology, with what was already there, the voices and the footwork, so you could already go and march before, but now. Oh, you have multiple waves coming at you from every angle. So from the ground, from the street, to the digital wave, to the media wave, and now you are looking at Washington, D.C. saying, hey, man, we got to figure out something. So you're having local governments and states saying, hey, we need to start having some conversations before we are pretty much up out of here. Because how long can you slow play everybody? You understand what I'm saying? How long is it that you can slow play everybody? I got this cat that keeps that keeps putting stuff in my chat. Obviously you in here, dude. You going to come up in here, Clarence Payne. You going to speak for yourself, brother. Clarence Payne, because here we do what we do here. And let me just stress something. My name is Beatzilla. I am by no means under any other man. If as a man I agree with other people and we stand in league with each other, that's called camaraderie. That's called brotherhood. Now I understand that a lot of y'all that sit up here up under these women, y'all so used to sissyhood that all you understand is beta male mentality. So another woman will direct how you interact with other men. Let me reiterate, my name is Beatzilla. I am not under any other man. So what you need to figure out is where you belong. If what you believe is what you believe, cool. But you don't like, well, y'all foundational Black Americans and don't nobody else want to reckon. I don't give a damn about what you talking about. I'm from the West Coast. No, there's never been an instance where one person is this big. No, partner, we part of a connection, brother. And I guess you just and wherever the hell y'all be dealing with and y'all so used to, we ain't used to none of that weak shit out here. So I mean, I don't know what to tell you, bro. But if you want to come up here and talk about it, you're more than welcome to go ahead and hit the stage, fam. But I will tell you this, stay out of I blocked a lot of y'all suckers out my inbox, so y'all can't even do that to me no more. But stay out from giving me all this shit, because that's sucker shit. So without further ado, this is the other point. Reparations hater. Here's the other haters. Foundational Black American freedmen haters. Because see, when we started talking about foundational Black American freedmen, we cut out a lot of bullshit. So if you want to keep going back and forth, beefing and all of that about nothing, you go right on ahead, dude. But this right here is about moving forth in the excellence category. If you scared, stay in a coward's place. This is going forward. What you want to do is argue with other men over how you feel about somebody. I don't give a shit about none of that. Is reparations in it? Is any means to reparations in your Tariq Nasheed hate? And shut your bitch ass up and stay the hell up out my shit. Next, we going back to what the hell we going to be talking about right here, and which is getting to that bag, which is the only thing on the table here when we talking. So, if you didn't understand, no, I'm not a Nasheedian. And by the way, even putting that out there in the wind, you basically calling the man a punk when you're doing that. So I don't know who raised you bitches, but I just need you to know. Every time y'all up under Tariq, nigga, I wish you would say that to my face. I mean, what kind of man would that be to let you just even spew that off? I was not raised that way, sir, and I ain't cut from that cloth. Stay in a sucker's place and stay the hell about my shit. Black Alpha, back on you, brother.
Peace and love and respect. Hey, first off, I want to tell my brother Vovo, you out there driving, family, be safe, brother. Be real safe, because I know the roads is real messed up right now, family, and I know you from up top. I don't know where you at right now, but just be very safe out there, man, because, I know a lot of accidents, things happening, so one love to you. Back to the point, like what we speaking of, isn't it funny, family, how we'll make a title, it might say regulating tethers, regulating reparations haters, and then guess what? They'll come to the yard. So it's almost like a damn signal, and then they come popping up and everything. But it's like this, man, when you coming against foundational Black American freedmen, like you up against something you can't handle. Your hands don't reach that high. You feel me? If it's too heavy, man, you can't pick it up. You're going to drop it. That's one thing about us. We stand together, and we stood together for 500 plus. And that's something that nobody, really can deal with. At the end of the day, these are just divisions. People are always trying to put a split in between us one way or another. But y'all notice every single time somebody does that, it makes us stronger. Look at that rally in Washington, D.C. That was love out there. Real love, genuine, sincere love. And that made the haters upset. They was mad. I mean, they was super mad. They couldn't stand it because all the tactics and all the tricks that they've tried to separate us, it only makes us stand stronger. Like you can come to me and my brother and my sister and you could try to separate us. But the only thing you're going to do is make it bad for yourself. You can make it bad for yourself, but you're never going to make it bad on us. Because when you base things out of love, when you base things out of connection, when you base things out of this lineage, heritage, and culture, you can never lose. And that's what we've been doing this year. We've been basing everything off of those words I just stated. And that's why we're winning right now. I mean, I see everybody in here. I see the whole space. Shout out to Dark and Lovely. I see you. That's my sister. Shout out to Connie Collins. I see you. Kid Gravity's in here. Shout out to all of y'all, because I watch and I observe us, and I see all of our ways in each other. You know what I'm saying? I can see a little bit of an American Freeman in another American Freeman. That goes for the brothers and the sisters. You feel me? So you see that we are a shared culture. We're shared people, and together we're unstoppable. And we've proved that. We've proved that time and time again. At this point, the era that we represent, there's nothing for us to prove. You know, everything's already been done. Only thing we're doing now is getting to the bag. You want to talk about greatness? Oh, hell, we already proved that. You want to talk about being exceptional? Shit, we already proved that too. Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about us being exceptional people 30, 40 years ago. We got aunts and uncles and mothers and fathers that have been, you know, beating that same drum anyway. So there's nothing to prove for us. Only thing left now, like I said, is for us to get to the bag. What I like to do sometimes, family, is I like to watch old documentaries about the order in history and see the role that we're playing right now. So I'll go back and I'll watch a documentary about slavery. I'll watch one about Reconstruction, the Civil Rights era, just so I can kind of see, you know, the categorical historical factions in which we played. I like to watch things that people done. I like to see the mistakes they made. We have the luxury of learning from the past. You feel me? And that's why the Hidden Color series is so phenomenal, because we can observe it and we can learn about not just our greatness, but we can see how to navigate around things. So when I sit back and I watch, I say, damn, we all right now participating in this era. I got an interview with brother Marcel Dixon. It's dropping tonight, by the way, on the Black Alpha Network. And me and him spoke about how they're going to start calling this the reparations era. You understand? They're going to start calling it every era. They got a tag name to it. This is going to be the reparations era. And this eventually going to be in books. Things that we're doing today is going to be spoke about years. I'm telling you, if you ever aspire to change the world, if you ever wish to be a part of something great, something big, you're a part of it right now. It's the Black grassroots. Nobody on the outside of that line can say they're doing what we're doing. We are changing the world. Put it this way, and this is one of my phrases I always say. You have the United States government addressing us, and not just addressing us. It's quite evidently clear that they're afraid. You understand? You see presidential debates where they're asking them, how do y'all feel about reparations? They have to see us now. So I always say, if you can change the United States government, you can change the world, because the United States government runs the world. China, they haven't done it. Russia hasn't done it. North Korea hasn't done it. Ukraine, nobody's done it. Who does the United States government think about day and night and day? That is the Black grassroots of foundational Black American freedmen, and that's because of us. So we must be doing something powerful. We must be excellent. We must be exceptional. So the only thing left now is to go ahead and cash that check and bring it on home. And I have, without a doubt in my mind, that is exactly what we're going to do, and not just 20 years later, 40 years later, in our lifetime. We're going to do that ASAP. Back to you, Zilla.
Yes, sir. And that's the one thing that we have to also look out for. Just like I was just addressing, our homegrown tethers. They have other agendas because they're part of other groups. And it, like I said before, we kind of drying up folks' Hotep hustle. Thank you, Tariq Nasheed, for bringing that word to the front. Because I'm telling you, we drying these folks' Hotep hustle up, and that's what they upset about. So, but again, how can you hate? How selfish can you possibly be? Man, I ain't gonna be able to look down on them. I done did all of this work and this and that. Hey, bro, you supposed to be working for the people. If you really truly working for the people, stop hating on their money. Man, that's all I can say. Stop hating on their money. You got family over here. A whole household can get up off the street. But man, all they gonna do is give their money back to the white man. Well, let them get in some shelter. I mean, don't that make sense? Jeez, how shallow can these people be? Volvo, back to you, brother.
Yeah, like brother Black Alpha was saying, yeah, we don't even have to do nothing no more. Our greatness is already proven. Like there's nothing, like you can't erase our history. What we did is unmatched. You know what I mean? We could just look at our resume. Yeah, you could hold the Black American resume up against anybody's resume in the world. Period. Give me any group in human history, any group of people in human history, their resume don't compete with ours at all. It'll take them 300 years to even catch up to us. So we already locked in. At this point, it's just jealousy. It's just simple jealousy. He also mentioned history. You know, that this would be the reparations era. They gonna go back and look at all these Twitter spaces, because like history only care about the truth. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we in the moment. But history, when these people look 100 years from now, 50 years from now, and they look back at this, they gonna see the Africans coming at us, the Asians coming at us. You know, we got a long history of the white folks coming at us. They gonna see this shit, and they gonna say that those were some amazing people. They stood up to all that shit. They gonna look silly. They don't understand that this is American history. They will be in the history books for all this bullshit they doing, coming over here talking shit, trying to shit on us, and we paved the way for them so they can get out the jungle and shit. Like they don't like this is American history. I say what a time to be alive. You know what I mean? I gotta get back on the road, brothers. I appreciate y'all letting me speak. You
all right, brother.
They call you hear me? I got a phone call. I'm sorry. You
okay.
Brother, you heard me?
Yes, sir, man. Drive safe out there, brother.
Yeah, I sure will, brother. I appreciate y'all.
Man, appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. And you know, this is like my brother Alpha said, man. This is it's a historic time, and I went into this year. Again, we know Retta Susse. We just had that, and my thinking around this time last year was going into 2022 with the idea of B1 Rise 2022, and I think I can honestly say we have thoroughly done that. Shout out to Connie Collins, because see, even with the Connie Collins situation. Y'all see how these people tried to lump everybody in with what she elected to do and tried to make it one big group, so much so that you're even filing lawsuits implementing a person that lives across the country. And then you have all these other groups trying to make it something that it's not. Then you have Bucci Bear, that now he has a cartoon of himself because he went out there and embarrassed himself, talking all out of his ass. But just look at all the reparations hate that we're seeing. All these people can honestly say their voice has been drowned out. And just like I told Black Alpha, we've had this conversation before, I'm not worried about shutting anyone down. That's not my objective. My whole objective is just simply raising the level of the water. So, you know, that that usually helps thin out the herd. So, you know, that's all we're doing here. We are elevating the conversation and we are raising the water. So with that being said, back to you, Black Alpha, and then we'll get to our sister Susan. Go ahead, brother.
I appreciate that, brother. And you know what happens, man, when I observe the room and I scan through the room, I see my beautiful brothers and sisters on the East Coast and the West Coast. And I see them in the Midwest and I see them in the South. Just me and you right now, we in the East Coast and the South, brother. You know what I'm saying? Or in the West Coast. Well, shit, hell, you way up there, family. So, I mean, we cross country side. You feel me? We sideways at an angle, up, down, left, right. But we representing though. We represent all across these 50 states and beyond. And that's the thing I love about this right now, man. We are genuinely doing something special. You feel me? And we are going down in the history books. This is going to be historic. I'm telling everybody, I've been saying this for years. This is historic. You can feel it. There's an energy right now. You know, we're very vibrational people, very frequency based. And when you feel it, when you out here and you really dealing with foundational Black Americans, you looking at each other in the eye, you feel me, like a grown ass adult. You look at them in the eyes, you see something different. You don't see the ways of the past anymore. We, quite frankly, we've regulated that. They're taking losses in the political world, the social world, anywhere where we show up and we feel that we're not being respected. The opposition is being handed a big ass L and we're the ones giving it to them. So that's the thing. And I want to say this to everybody out there. I want, you know, as my brother Bowo was just saying, everybody's watching this right now. And this is going down in the history books. And as Bobo said, they're going to look back on this era and we're going to see all the oppositions. Oh, yeah. And what they they better be worrying about this next generation coming up underneath us. That's who they, really better be worried about. Because these young folks out here, they're not getting sold a message of, yes, we can, and the first Blacks, and tomorrow's a better day, and can't we all just get along? Right here, just in this space, at the reparations rally, folks is bringing their children Y'all all saw that interview with that beautiful little girl where she was speaking to Tariq Nasheed and she was interviewing him. That's the next generation. They better be worried about that. What Tupac said. Tupac said back in the day, he said, if you think I'm bad, wait until you see this next guy. Okay, and I'm going to say the same thing in the year 2022. If you got a problem with foundational Black Americans, wait until you see the next generation, because we're not passing down that bullshit. We're not passing down that turn the other cheek. Okay, they're going to look back and they're going to see that we was getting to the bag and all these damn tethers were popping up trying to stop us. All these self-serving coons, these agencies, decoys, these ops was trying to get it. And they're going to be very framed, because one thing we do very, very well is we frame opposition. So they're not going to be having to figure out who the bad guys. See, that's what we had to do. We had to figure out who was bad, who was really against us, who was in camouflage, who was being sneaky, because a lot of folks in the last generation, they sold our enemies to us as friends. So we took it upon ourselves to find out, okay, this is a friend, this is family, this is an opposition. We had to do that on our own. We've been out here on the island all by our motherfucking selves because nobody was really trying to help us. That's okay. That's all right. Hey, we don't sweat that shit because we can do anything. We can move mountains. So we have accomplished that. We've gotten that all out the way. So now we understand who the opposition is, who's about that life, who's really for us. And we're going to tell that to the youth. So they're going to start with a head start. They're not going to be starting 20, laps behind these other groups out here. They're going to be in front of everybody. So when they grow up, they're going to look back on this era. They're going to see these reparations rallies and everything that we're going to do tomorrow and the next year. It's not done. This is still being written. Our generation, all of us in the prime of our life, is being written right now. Okay. They're going to make documentaries, movies, every goddamn thing about us. And the kids are going to sit there and see it. And they're going to say, okay, so we's not African Americans. We foundational Black American freedmen. Oh, okay. So we did get reparations. Okay, so we were owed reparations, and then we got up off our asses and went out and got it. Oh, and nobody helped us either. Oh, okay. So that Democratic Party that Black folks have voted for blindly for 60 years, that era right there put it into that. That era right there started demanding and taking command. Oh, wow. And then they're gonna say, well, shit, if they did it in 2022, shit, let me do it right now. In 2042, 52, whatever. And so you see, we're creating not just our era of success, we're creating generational successes, what I call certified energy. And certified energy goes from generation to generation to generation. So when we're out here making moves, I'm telling you right now, family, I'm not just thinking about us here today. I'm thinking about tomorrow in the youth. I'm doing what them old heads from the civil rights era never thought about. Hell, a lot of them weren't thinking about today. They was thinking about 60 years ago. They was thinking about goddamn 1952 and 2022. That makes no sense. So we're moving on at a different, pace. We're moving on at a different rate, and we're going to create that generational awareness, generational wealth, generational energy, so the next generation can come on and they can take this baton that we pass to them, and they can whoop anybody's ass that gets in their way. That's what you call foundational Black American freedmen excellence. Back to you, my family.
Absolutely. And real quick, before we get to Susan, the person that put what is this name? Let me look at this name real quick. What is the Sony Pat? If you get a chance, can you come up and fill me in on the Seattle thing that you put in the chat? I would love to hear this story because I got to be filled in on this, please. So Susan, it is on you. So Sony Pat, if you can please come on up, please do. Susan, it's on you, sis.
Good afternoon, all my people. You know I love you, and you know I'm out there fighting that battle right with you on the front line. And you know what I say? Just run me my money. I don't want to hear no talk. I don't want to hear no study. I don't want to see no tether, no coon, no Bigfoot. I don't want to see nothing. We built this country. We made it possible for immigrants and anybody else to come here and suck the life out of what we built. And I'm not standing for it. I've never stood for it. My mother and father raised me not to stand for it. And I'm here today till the last breath I take. Just cut the check. And I love you all.
Thank you so much, sister. Always appreciate you. Just cut the check. And, family, I was just in looking through things last night and just looking up old interviews. I wanted to, I came across this interview with John Lewis. And John Lewis was literally...
Zilla, don't start. Zilla, don't get me going on John Lewis, brother.
No. This is a surprising one. This is actually really, really surprising. And I'm like, well, why don't we hear this often? So check this out. He's actually saying, he's like, yeah, so when we were in Selma, the whole situation where him and Martin Luther King were hemmed up in jail that night, Malcolm X literally went to the jail to go talk to him, and the jailers wouldn't let them in. So I guess Malcolm X later on that evening went to go speak at a church with Coretta Scott King, talking about all the folks that had just got beat in Selma. I had never heard of that before. And then also all of a sudden, he said the very next week is when they took out Malcolm X. So I was just like, whoa, that little tasty tidbit of information, it changed my thinking. I'm like, wait a minute. So how they really wanted, they had to get Martin Luther King out the paint as well, because you're starting to talk about some conversations that you don't never want to hit the light. And so, yeah, bro, that's what I literally came across last night. Can you believe that?
Family, that's insane. Hey, but you know what? That's exactly what we talk about in terms of how they try to create divisions amongst us. That's another thing, man. I got to tell everybody in here, I'm proud of all y'all. Very proud of y'all is that we haven't let any of these people put wedges in between us. And y'all know the first thing they're going to do. What's the old term, y'all? Divide and conquer. They have not been able to divide us. Not at all. We've actually stayed stronger and been on the same page on code more than ever this era. And every single day, we got somebody from somewhere trying to say, man, you know, so-and-so talking about you. You know, so-and-so don't get along with you. We may have some spats. We may have some divisions here and there. We may get out of here. I get into it with my own family. But you ain't going to run up on my brother. You ain't going to run up on my sister. You ain't going to run up on my cousins. That's how we are as people, man. You know, we may have, you know, issues amongst ourselves, but that's in-house issues. That's in-house. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't going to get along all the time. But at the end of the day, we protect each other and we hold each other down. So y'all see all the time, there's always somebody out here trying to get FBA to go, you know, that direction and that direction. They've been doing that since the 1960s. You know, really be honest with you, they've been doing that for hundreds of years, to be honest with you. But like you were just saying, brother, it's illuminated and highlighted in the 1960s. Now, I'm going to give a little other history, you know, key point right there is that a lot of people don't know that picture you see with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, where they were shaking hands and talking. No one ever knows what was said. You understand? It was a very brief meeting. A lot of people don't know what was said. And the fact that they were having liaisons in between them, communicating. But what was said by Martin Luther King told Malcolm and vice versa. He said that times are changing, things are changing, ideas are changing, and the whole movement is evolving. So we got to all understand that we got to be on the same page. We got to be on the same accord. We got to make sure that we stay together no matter what. That's what was said between them. So the last conversation or communication between Malcolm X and Martin Luther King was one of unity. Unity. You understand? So anytime they say this was the good Negro and this was the bad Negro, no, it wasn't. Those are two brothers the same exact way. They may have had different ideologies and approaches, but at the same time, they were focused on us collectively getting together and keeping it in-house. So no matter what started off, it ended with them two brothers being on the same accord. And obviously you can see that's what's going on with us as well. And I'll give you another one as well, is that a few weeks before Martin Luther King passed away, he reached out to the Black Panther Party. Okay, because a lot of people don't know Martin Luther King, the civil rights era, that was more so of the late 50s into the early 60s, and the Black Panthers started in 1966, October 1966, and then they're more so of a 1970s mainstay. But Martin Luther King reached out to the Black Panther Party because he was looking at these folks in California, these young folks, because they were much younger than him. He was looking at them way from the South and saying, who are these black folks out there, these young black folks with afros and leather coats? He said, I have to get those folks to join in on the movement so we can collectively create a coalition. And his words were, if I can get the Black Panther Party and them young folks out there, then victory will be swift and easy. That is exactly what Martin Luther King said. He made a phone call. Bobby Seale's secretary answered, and he said, I will be there and we will all meet up so we can have not only the civil rights folks from the South, we can also have the Black Panthers of the West Coast. And 3 days later, Martin Luther King was assassinated. So on his way out, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King showed their unity. And then on his way out, Martin Luther King and the Black Panther Party showed unity. So it shows you, family, we are already great. We're already excellent. All we got to do is stay on the same page. We don't let nobody get in between us. And anybody who's off code, it makes us only get more on code and makes us stronger. So that's what we got to continue to make sure we do, family. Do you feel where I'm coming from, bro?
Yeah, brother. And what's so crazy is the fact that we just now finding out that little tasty tidbit of information, and it puts a chain of events of energy together. What's so crazy is we just picked up on that energy without even knowing. Man, if anybody say that all of this wasn't meant to be, you out your damn mind, man. You can't make this up. I mean, because again, how are we gravitating toward the same energy? I've been seen Hebrew and Nation of Islam holding spaces together. It's a different time, family, and just like the black is the future, just like TBA say sometimes, because we are really truly sitting in a system in a situation where, hey man, the world is watching everything we do. So much so that Akon got to sit up here and take shots at Black Americans, um, and just blindly hate on us. Looks like we lost. Looks like we lost CC Freeman. If you could come back, Connie, come on up. But yeah, family, we got to go ahead and just make sure we continue into 2023 with the agenda of continuing to sever the tether. That's a line right there. Sever the tether. And again, I understand how people are coming at us and saying, hey, you guys shouldn't label this and all that. You know what's so funny? First was we were labeling ourselves. Now the problem is that we are labeling ops. And so now that we are labeling our ops, just like Vovo said, we can instantaneously make null and void. Because again, we don't have the buffer media class. The Rolling and that whole crying ass, well, no, not Lamont, what, Vanessa Jones, Lamont Hill, and he trying to really make a comeback off of what's his face's money off of Byron Allen. Yeah, man, that's $100 million loss just what happened. But I see CC Freeman done hit the stage. She was going over there putting her foot in going ahead putting her foot up 106 Power 106's throat, letting them know that culture vulture madness disrespecting us will no longer be tolerated in silence. With that being said, my sister, you got it. Go ahead, Connie Collins. You got it, sis.
Hey man, what's up? Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Knock it off. But just so you guys know, Power 106 is not over. I just undertook a bunch of other things after the high visibility part of it. People try to, let me just say this as a cautionary tale. Don't let people try to make fun of you. Oh, you just out there protesting. You're out there marching. That is all part and parcel of being an activist, of being a revolutionary. You have to bring attention to the problem. So when you see people protesting, let them do what they do. That's their lane. It may not be your lane, but it's their lane and it serves a purpose, just like those of us who are in these spaces and people try to belittle what you do. Oh, you just a social justice Twitter warrior. Yeah, that's what I am. All that. All that serves the purpose. So the next phase is I'm going to have to file a lawsuit. I've already written it out. And I'm telling you, I've been so overwhelmed with everything, my job, my business, my work, and trying to be a reparationist. So, to Black Alpha and Beat Scylla, thank you for letting me come to the stage. I just had a couple of quick comments. You said something that I really like what you said, and you said this is going to go down in history as the reparations era. And I sometimes when I see people acting a fool in these spaces, I'm just fascinated. I'm like, do you not understand that what we're doing is historical? Do you not understand that? And to add fuel to that positive information, what we're doing, just veggie backing on what Beatzilla, Black Alpha Network, and other people have said, we are spreading information faster than any other people ever. So, like, take anybody in this space. If you're a true reparationist, at minimum, you've changed the lives and opened the minds at minimum of 10 people. Exponentially, if those 10 people are talking to 10 people, people can't unhear what they heard. You can't rebut the truth with anything but truth. And like Beatzilla said, or Black Alpha said, no one can compare to our accomplishments. So that's why we win hands down. Now, let me get back to the spread of information exponentially. If 10 people are talking to 10 people who are talking to 10 people, that's a freaking wildfire. That's why everybody's so upset with us. We're the only people that have never, ever, 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 ever lain down for white mediocrity, which masks itself as superiority. We're the only people fighting a global machine. This stuff is so rigged. There's no way we should still be at this, but here we are. Here we are. So just remember, this is history. How you move in these spaces, how you move in the streets. I said this at the reparations rally. We're all activists. You are an activist. You are Malcolm. You are Martin. You are Fannie Lou. You're we're all of these people individually. And I'm going to say something. This is very personal to me. Beatzilla said they just want us to lay down and fall back and whatever. Notice that they've killed everybody, every single person that has ever spoken up for us unapologetically and without fear. I've been an activist before you guys met me. I mean, way before you met me. They have tried to kill me. I've told you guys this numerous times. How did I go from barely getting in car accidents to getting in 10 car accidents in 6 years' time? And I'm not talking minor accidents, I'm talking rear ended so hard, like I flew up and I'm in a seatbelt, hit my head on the windshield, hit head on collisions, T-bone, all types of stuff. They can't get me in particular. Like what they try to do with men is they try to get you on sex charges, drug charges, whatever. My life is so clean, there's nothing they can do. So they just have to take me out in car accidents, right? Then I'm like I said, I'm not going to speak on this till next year. Thank you all who donated to my security fund. I didn't think I needed it. It's wild out in these streets. But listen, what they try to do now, they don't even wait for you to get a big voice. They're taking you out beforehand. Look at Darren Seals. Look at these young people in Ferguson. And then look at who they infuse into the game. What's his name with the blue vest? I met him. Can't think of his name. Somebody tell me his name with the blue vest. Anyway, the United States government will take out our people and then insert their people in to be the voice of us. And so people like me, every time I get some footing, even on Twitter, I've had large accounts on Twitter. Every time I start really getting traction, they shut me down. But this is in real life, and I'm going to say something that may not be popular. We keep saying this is a leaderless movement. This is a leaderless movement. It is a leaderless movement. We're operating like a beehive, a network, right? You can't stop that. But what I'm starting to see is I do think that we need some people that people can look to that are iconic, because I think that's why we have so much bickering with the whole leaderless notion. There's people, and we see it played out on these spaces. Everybody wants to be I don't know what they want to be. They want to run everything. And it's like, I heard a space the other day and they said, everybody should be able to speak. You know how we could have people going to these reparations hearings saying the wildest things? Being on code means that we're like minded. That doesn't mean you're a cult, but you have to agree on the basic tenets and the mores and the values and the customs, right? Of who we are as a people. Then the next step is you have to identify what we need as a people. Then the next step is you have to identify what we need to do to address those issues. Then the next step is you have to take that. Unfortunately, we don't live in a sovereign nation. So we do have to take it to the white man's government. And I didn't plan on speaking this long, but so much stuff is just flowing through my brain. I heard another space saying that we're dumb, talking about we're freedmen, and none of the reparations language addresses us as freedmen. And we keep trying to tell people that freedmen is a political status. All that means is that's like a bus. If we're all taking a bus to Washington, D.C., right? The Negroes, the Hoteps, the Israelites, the American Indians, the blacks, the black Americans, we all get on the bus, and that bus is called freedmen. That is a political status. Let's stop arguing about what we call ourselves. If we all understand that we may have different ideologies, but in the eyes of the government, we're all one people, and those one people have to come to the table. I'm sorry, and have to come to the table and present a proposal. In this instance, our reparations proposal is what we're trying to do. So if we have people saying, "Oh no, we just want some gold bullion," "Oh no, brother, what we need is some land," and we're saying, "No, baby, we need cash." Okay, I don't need a free education if I can't feed myself while I'm going to college. I don't need land that I don't have money to cultivate. I can buy gold bullion with my money. I can buy real estate with my money. So we need money. We need all the tangibles. And for those of you, real quick, if you allow me to speak a little bit longer, for those of you that don't understand, we're not just asking for cash payments. We're asking for policies, prescriptions, and programs that will repair and restore us to where we should have been and where we were during Reconstruction. We were denied education, right? So we need free education. And we need all of our school districts funded.
Uh-oh, we didn't lose you, did we? Are you can I is she still talking, or is that me? Did we lose Cece? Uh-oh. Are you there, Alpha? This thing tripping.
Testing, testing.
Okay, I can hear you. There we go. Okay, I guess she got kicked out. Okay, I was wondering, I'm like, well, she just stopped mid sentence. Okay, Susan, you can go ahead until we can get Cece back up. Go ahead, Susan, you got it.
When when she was speaking about being threatened and hate and whatever, a thought came to my head, which is something I'm just now speaking on. Somebody set off a bomb outside of my fourth floor condominium a couple months ago. I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning watching TV, and this big bomb set off. I felt the concussion and saw the light. I called the police. I said, now they took all of that time to try to scare me. But you know what? I got something registered, and she's my girlfriend. Let them break my door down, okay? And I'm going to land my plane because I'm about my people and I'm about reparations. Always have been. My family, my mother and father taught me this. So this is nothing new for me. So all of that talking, scaring, you don't deserve, they can kiss where the sun don't shine. And I'm gonna land my plane, and I got something else to say. I'm coming back up. And you know I love you. I'm about my people.
Thank you so much, Susan. Always appreciated. And see, we have Cece Freeman back. Also, Cece Freeman, the blue vest dude that you was talking about, D. Ray
D-Ray.
McKess. That's who you
Right.
talking
I
about.
could not remember, but real quick, guys, after I close with this, I'm about to close with this. I do want to go back to why we need some leaders, some appointed leaders. But remember, when people are trying to spread this information, we are asking for cash payments and free college tuition. Our, our schools funded equally to white schools, interest-free business loans, free health care, everything and more, and a lot more. Everything we've ever been denied. So don't get into arguments with people about we need cash, we don't need cash. We're asking for all of it. But back to why I say I think we do need some leaders. What they're doing now is leaving us out of very important conversations by saying, well, we who are your leaders? Who speaks for you? We just saw that African summit happen with Biden, right? And I spoke about this in another space. Please hear me if you don't hear anything else I say today. Biden announced just before the summit that we're now considered Africans. If you don't believe me, you look it up. He's referring to us as Africans. Then he said we are part of the African diaspora. When did that happen? Who voted on that? So do we get reclassified again, unbeknownst to us? Now let's move further along. So then they had the summit, and then I think it was Congo, and I forgot the other country, signed over control of their precious minerals to the United States government. Ruh-roh, bad sign. They gave the African nations, the ones that, I think it was 6 countries that weren't invited and all the rest, 55 billion. Why? That's on top of their foreign aid. Why would they give them 55 billion? Well, we see certain countries signing over their mineral rights, right? Also, the United States government has come to recognize that every other country, all the major superpowers in the core countries, particularly China and Russia, are funding Africa above and beyond what the United States was. So the United States, I think, I may not have the figures right. You guys can look this up. So China, I believe, had invested, I would say about 100, and I don't have, just let me throw out numbers and you'll get the gist of it. I'll just say 127 billion to Africa. It was much more. To United States, only like 17 billion. So now they just threw another 55 in, which means they're going to throw in more because they have to be competitive against China, Russia, and the Arab nations, right? We know that Africa's desperate. They can't pay any of these people back. I'm not going to get into what's happening with China and how they're controlling their ports, and every time they default, they get to own a piece of the nation. But how does this pertain to us? If we're part of the African diaspora, who was there speaking for us? No one. They made us part of the African diaspora, but yet we had the Caribbeans allegedly had somebody speaking for them. The Africans were speaking for themselves. Who was speaking for us? And I believe that's why we need to start grooming people that we decide are leaders for real, not the Roland Martins and the people that they pick, the people we pick to go and represent us. Because when they got that 55 billion, if we're part of the African diaspora, what African president or prime minister said what percentage of that goes to the Black Americans? No one. No one was there. So we're going to, in my opinion, have to establish designated leaders that when we get in people's asses, we say, this is who we want there. This is who we want speaking for us and negotiating deals for us. And they're going to try to take that person out. And the last thing, I know I keep saying last thing. Stop pocket watching people. When we pick the leaders, they can't do it for free. So stop talking about, oh, they're using the movement to line their pockets. What are they supposed to do? It's a full-time job. Are they supposed to be homeless while doing this work? Are they supposed to write legislation, lobby, be out in the streets, visiting families, doing whatever they're doing on our behalf for free? Stop pocket watching people unless you see them doing wrong. And if you don't like how people are moving, then you step up. Or your contingency with their ideology, groom somebody and stop coming and going against us. Hold your own spaces. Be out in the real world building your constituency. You don't have to detract from this movement to build. When you have something to build, you don't have to tear anyone else down to uplift yourself. So on that note, thank you guys so much for letting me speak. But just remember this is history. How you comport yourself is part of history. And you never know how you individually are going to play a role in this movement. You could inadvertently be caught up into anything. And if you're not on message and on code, you're going to be the person that's going to be looked upon disfavorably. So, peace, love, and reparations. Thank you to the host. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sister. I always appreciate you and appreciate what you do. Shout out to you, sister, and all the folks down there in LA. Um, Black Alpha, did you want to chime in on that, brother? Coyote might have got him out there in the woods. Oh man, so hopefully my brother come back up in a minute. But yeah, I totally agree with what you said as far as I would look at it not really as a leader but a spokesperson, but even still a spokesperson for any group is still always going to somewhat be looked at as a leader, especially by the entities and the powers that be out here. One thing I also have to concur with is the pocket watching thing. If you want somebody to make this a full-time thing, then that has to be sustained. You got folks with families out here that are doing a lot on their own dime. And that we know how we get as people. And sometimes we start looking at one person and want them to solve all the black folks' ills that ever happened throughout the existence in America. And we that's not realistic. So if a person, especially a person that already kind of had a nice financial situation, when they're able to maneuver in this lane, you should not don't look a gift horse in the mouth, because truth be told, that's just a person with money that actually has a platform that most people look at. But trust me, there's other people that still have there's well-to-do black folks that are still kind of 1 foot in and 1 foot out, to be quite honest. And they're not gonna take no chance. They will put money in some black positive movement, but you can't be out here running reckless every time somebody puts a microphone in your face. And so that is one thing that we, I guess, we're still in the process of cultivating that. Um, but I agree with CC and also our brother Marcel, which always mentions it. We do, and also Kid Gravity. We have to start grooming our own public speakers, I guess you could say, that would be willing to deal in these spaces. Say Washington D.C., you're dealing with your state legislation, legislators, and stuff like that. Because again, this is a movement to where it requires a bunch of moving parts, because everything that's against us has exactly that. So we have to look at everything realistically. And with that, stop being so hard on our own, because one person cannot do it all. But it definitely requires for us to protect our own. So we got to get out of the mind state of, if I don't like this person, I'll let outsiders harm them. That has to stop. If we want people to feel safe advocating for us, then we have to make that assurance only comes from us. So as people move out here and step out on faith and step out on this blackness and step out on this agenda, we have to make sure that these people know they got the comfort of the family now. So we can't just send nobody out here butt naked and be like, do it all. That's what we've been doing forever. And I would just hope that, like, with what it is absolutely necessary that we need these voices. So in preparation for when that voice steps up to this platform, family, let's be ready to welcome them and get the momentum behind them, and also give them that protection. Because just as our sister Cece, she just did a protest dealing with a damn radio station and needs security. So just keep that in mind, family. Go ahead, sister, you got it.
Hey, thank you. You made me think of something else. I don't think a lot of people understand how many people are actually listening to us. I'm not going to call their names out because then they'll be a target. But there's celebrities that are putting their toe in the water. They're tweeting, they're Instagramming, they're TikToking, and they're saying what we're saying. They're doing it mildly so they can stay under the radar. There are tons of freedmen with deep pockets that would be willing to speak up. But this is another thing we don't take into account, and Beatzilla touched on it. If a person has 50 million, right? And they start speaking like we speak, they may never get another movie role again. They may never get another sports contract. Kanye is not my dude, but you see how they just cut off that faucet. Bloop, just like that, right? Are we willing to say, hey, like Kyrie, when Kyrie was under fire, we spoke up for Kyrie. I was proud of us. But let's say Kyrie never played again. People be like, oh, he got 100 million. He also has $100 million worth of overhead. So when somebody's willing to step out for us, we have to know, let them know we have a safety net for you. We'll go fund you. We'll whatever. For the rest of our lives, we'll all give $10, whatever. We have got to stop pocket watching, looking at the long-term solutions for how we move forward. Please, please, please stop demanding that people step out of their comfort zone to do what we or you or I want them to do. And what I mean by that is, if somebody's a professor and all they want to do is research and write about the issue, that's their lane. Don't tell them you need to go and you need to speak and you do. If you have a popular YouTube channel and you choose to just talk about it and disseminate information, that's that person's lane. That's what they're comfortable with, and that's what they know they can do without destroying their livelihood. Then there's people who may be wealthy who might say, you know what? Beatzilla has, this nonprofit over here. I can quietly donate, but you're not going to push me to put my whole career on the line. I'm just going to I'm not saying this is what he should do. Oh, LeBron need to be doing this. LeBron doesn't need to do shit but be LeBron. LeBron needs to do what LeBron feels comfortable with doing. I would love for LeBron to say more. If he's not going to say more, I'm like, can you and your boys get together and fund $100 million nonprofit that we can work through? But allow people to do what they do. If somebody only can, show up and hand out flyers, don't tell them that's nothing. Every contribution matters, but can we shift our thinking and allow everybody to be in this movement and in their lane? Can we just get on code with we don't fight over religious beliefs? I don't even know what to call it. Just ideologies. I'm an American Indian. I'm a freedman. I'm a Black American. I'm an African American. I'm Hotep. I'm a Toktan. I'm Moorish. Let's stop fighting over ideologies and get behind reparations solely. Put your politics aside and put your religion aside. Please stop pocket watching. Uplift those that are doing what they can. Like, I've met some people in person. I've met some people strictly offline that I've been in contact with for years, and we work together. I'm going to give you an example. Miss Giselle. I met Miss Giselle on Clubhouse. We've been cool ever since Clubhouse. There's people I've been cool with ever since Clubhouse. Miss Giselle goes so hard, it's beyond amazing. I don't even think people comprehend what this woman does. And I keep saying this in spaces. When we got down to the wire at the rally, she lives in the DMV area. I just picked up the phone and said, hey, Miss Giselle, can you run and get this? Miss Giselle, can you make this happen? Miss Giselle, can you call this person? And she was there. Right now, she does so much more. She's giving out homeless bags, shoes, coats, toiletries, strictly for freedmen in the DMV area. Also, while working politically. So I'm just saying, you really never know who's in these spaces, who's doing what, but uplift people. And I'm not going to call out the spaces that do this, but stop this. We outside. We outside. Y'all niggas ain't doing shit. This isn't a contest. Some days I'm super duper duper tired. I can only do what I can do. My bandwidth is only so wide. All of us have to let people do what they do, and I'm going to close with that. And that's why I always started saying peace, love, and reparations. Have peace and love in your heart and put reparations first. Peace, love, and reparations.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sister. And I, man, you very eloquently put it. Let people be themselves. Let people ride in their own lane, and that's one of the things I've always stressed. Like, hey, I do what I do, other people do what they do, and that's it. It requires everybody. That's how I see it. Because I mean, one person can't do everything, but all of these people, we are exceptional people. So that means all of us have all of these different strong suits at a high level of excellence. Man, I don't need to be in your lane doing the best thing that I do, and then now I'm diminishing what I do just to come over here and do what you doing. Hell no. We all riding in the same and riding in our lane. Psh, man, please. That's the problem. That's what they don't want. They are worried about that, family, because that type of thinking. Oh man, that's a whole look. Just scan the room real quick, family. Just scan this room and imagine everybody in this space right now got reparations. What are we talking about here? I'm just saying, just put that in perspective for you. Just scan the room and just let that be a lesson that everybody in here could get reparations. What does that look like to the world? You feel me, my brother?
Absolutely. Hey, you can hear me well, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got your back loud and clear, brother.
All right, let's clear up this misnomer that a lot of people, don't really address. The dominant society, they're not worried about millions of us getting reparations. They worry about that certified 100. You feel me? They weren't worried about every black person on the plantation having a slave revolt. They was worried about that 200 or 300, 60, 50, the ones that about that life. That's who they worried about. It ain't going to take all of us to get reparations to flip this upside down. You understand? Back in slavery, it didn't take every single person to be on code for them to free themselves. Reconstruction, it didn't take every single person to be on code for Reconstruction. Civil rights era, it didn't take every single person. So this notion that every last black person on earth, every child, every adult, every man and woman, we all got to be on code or we ain't going to get nothing. Bullshit. You understand? All it takes is us right here. I'm going to be honest with you. When we was at the reparations rally, the way my mind works, I was just watching the crowd and looking at some of the brothers and sisters. And I was like, damn, all I need is these brothers and sisters right here. Right there, like everybody who was there physically or the ones who were there in spirit. That's all I need. I don't need every single black person on the planet Earth to get reparations. And that's what the dominant society knows. They know damn well. They say it's going to take them certified 100 right there, and they're going to create institutions. They're going to create organizations. They're going to generate wealth that's going to last forever for everyone. So it's not all about every single last person. Anybody who's trying to tell you that, that's just somebody who's trying to give you some type of fairy tale that they know ain't going to happen. Dr. Umar, when he's running around, he's saying, we're going to give this, 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 and this. Hey, some people might, but those people aren't going to affect us because we're going to get that money together and we're going to make something happen with it. So that's what it's really about. It's genuinely about the certified 100, as I call it. As I say, it just takes a few of us to change the world. And it's always been a few of us to change the world. We talk about foundational black Americans in this family tree. Some folks on this family tree, they may not be out here really in the streets putting it down. They may not be out here really putting in work. They may not be out here really focusing on the code. That's okay. That's what they do. But us over here on this side, the ones who care, the ones who want to be here, we're going to get it done and we're going to make things happen for everybody. So all we got to do is just focus on those who about it. Because I know looking at this room right now, I see a couple brothers and sisters. I'm like, damn, let me get the bag. Let her get the bag. Let him get the bag. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to start some Fortune 500 companies just with some folks in this room. You can take my Twitter timeline. And I'm telling you right now, I know some brothers and sisters that will turn this shit upside down. So that's what it's all about. It doesn't take all of us to get the job done. It could take a few of us and we could change the world. We've been changing the world with a few of us for 500 years. So why would we mess up tradition? So let's just keep doing exactly what we're doing right here today, family, and everything will come on our way on the real side.
Big facts. Big facts. Shout out Dwan B. I see you, my brother. I see you did a piece on Akon. Yeah, man, if you want to come up here and chime in on that too, man, always, brother. We have our brother Afro Elite on the stage. You can go ahead and unmute yourself. What's going on, John Horse? Go ahead, Afro. You got it.
B1 family, how are you all doing?
Good, brother. Good.
Okay, good. I'm glad I can be heard. I was actually in the middle of editing a video and I was just listening. I didn't even plan on jumping on, but I heard our sister Cece, and hey, sister Cece, how are you doing? I heard her say something and that encouraged me to come up and speak towards what she said, to second what she said. There's a lot that people do for the movement. There's a lot that I do for the movement. These last couple weeks, I've literally been working tirelessly, working on different projects and videos and things like that. That does not make me, and I don't feel like that makes me better than any individual in this room at all. That I'm not better than nobody in here because I do that. I do that because this is what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. That doesn't make me better. Just because I might be working, there's probably, and I'm sure there's probably a dozen of y'all in here who are working harder than me, who are making it seem that what y'all do behind the scenes, make it seem like what I'm doing ain't really shit. So I don't have anything to brag about. And if I was the hardest working black person on the face of the earth, that still don't make me better than nobody. Okay, because this is not about me. This is not about what I'm doing. This is not an individual competition. And people need to stop taking it that way. People need to stop taking it like this is I'm trying to one up somebody. That's not how a revolution is won. A revolution is not won by people trying to one up the next person. By people trying to be like, well, you donated $100, I donated $150. Well, I donated $153. That's not how that is won. You don't see white folks doing that. You don't see them being all like, oh, well, you're racist. Well, I'm more racist. I'm more racist. You're going to terrorize black kids. I'm going to terrorize 2 black kids. You don't see them doing that. With that stuff takes away from the movement. That doesn't even add to the movement. That's digression. That's going backwards. That's working backwards. We need to, there's people, and we don't even need to say their names because then there's going to be a whole bunch of spaces because the name's going to be clout they feel like they have. So I don't need to even name people, but we all know the people I'm referring to. That stuff needs to stop. That stuff is not progressive to the movement at all. We can all do what we do. Some people are very good when it comes to history. They know history better than a lot of other people do. And that might be what they do. They might not ever want to go out on a protest. They might not ever want to go out on a march or anything like that. But they educate people as far as history and they empower people as far as history. And that's all they need to do. And that's good because they don't have to be doing that. There's people who just donate and that's all they do. That's all they can do. And that's all they do is donate. And that's good. And that's all they have to do. And we respect each person in each individual role. And that's how we move as a team. And if we're all in the same role, like for instance, Beatzilla, Black Alpha, me, myself, Dewan B, we all have YouTube channels. We don't be trying to one up each other on our YouTube platforms. We not trying. Oh well, you did it for an hour. I did it for 2 hours. You had this broadcast. We don't be trying to do that. Even if you're in the same lane as another person, you just focused on being the best individual you can be and empowering yourself to empower the movement. And that's all you need to worry about. You do not need to worry about one up in the next person being the star of the show. You don't have to be worrying about none of that. So I just wanted to come and second what our sister Cece said, and I'm gonna mute myself. I might speak a little bit later, but I'm gonna mute myself with that.
Big facts, brother. And I have